And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special keynote from our Minister of Entrepreneur Development, Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Mohd Redzuan, and he is also here to officiate our lovely Bloconomic Expo of 2019. So please put your hands together as I invite him to the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Dr. K. Johan, World President of Brand Laureate. Yang berbahagia Datuk Redzuan Wong, Presiden Malaysia Blockchain Association MBA. Yang berusaha Dr. Anis Mahmud, Timbalan Ketua Setiausaha MED. Yang berusaha Puan Zulera, CEO Magic under my ministry. Distinguished guests, members of media, fellow participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good morning, salam sejahtera kepada semua. Now, I heard from Datuk Tan Sri KK Johan and Datuk Redzuan, they all talk about Bs, brands, block, and of course there's a word called C, chain. I just want to give you a bit of if they started as a joke, I also want to share my experience about blockchain. And I was laughed at. I don't want to crack a joke, but when I was attending, I was never a minister, never a politician. I was attending my first cabinet meeting. And I was carrying these papers of about 2 feet high, or 2 foot high. And I've got officers carrying these bags, going to the cabinet room. And I said to myself, I'm going to say something, my first day cabinet, And I said to the Prime Minister, I think with all this document, it's about time we adopt blockchain technology. And they all stared at me, and they laughed at me, and they said, go back and chain yourself. That's serious. I mean, one minister saying, Redzuan, go back and chain yourself. Then I start to think, are we ready? So then I push this along to the various agencies. And look, we have to think digital. We have to get data or even asset digitized. I was then invited to go for a keynote, not Bloconomics, but the launch of cryptocurrency. And unfortunately, the founder of this cryptocurrency, not Bitcoin, some other coin, I can't remember what it is. I was given the red flag by Bank Negara. YB, you don't want to go to this event because you're breaking the rules. I said, what do you mean breaking the rules? And I must tell you this, the guys that wanted to launch cryptocurrency was put to lock up, not prison, for about 6 days. I'm not sure whether he's in here. I'm not sure whether he's in jail. But I know he is now on the world stage talking about blockchain technology. He's in London, he's in New York, he's in Tokyo, he's in Korea. I don't know whether you know this guy. He's talking about blockchain technology. He's trying to champion the adoption of technology. He's trying to champion for us to transform ourselves into a new environment where people have innovated and people has got to make sure the world community now is heading toward an economy where it is surrounded by all forms of innovations and they have to be contained in certain blocks. And I thought that has been said as being chained in each block. Right? Am I right? Am I wrong? I'm not that techy. I was not trained to be an IT guy or even in the world of Internet of Things, so to speak. But this is where we are. As government, we need to learn as fast as we can. I need to learn as fast as we can in order to facilitate, to create an ecosystem where people like you trying to survive or trying to create wealth or trying to give benefits to the people around you. And something that I think I must congratulate you all, the community of hardly 2 years old, the community of so-called Blockchain Association of Malaysia, for trying their very best to inculcate new values into entrepreneurs, to calculate new values into people that aspire to adopt technology and make so-called themselves or branding themselves or want to be branded as the leaders rather than followers. This is something that I think I must give a clap to everyone in this room. Now, I would like to thank the organizer, officated Berhad, in collaboration with Malaysia Blockchain Association, for inviting me to officiate this conference. It would have been more appropriate if MDEC, they're more digitized, MDEC. But I know Datuk Redzuan has been, I wouldn't say bothering me. He's been asking me to look at it from the entrepreneurship perspective. And we are, as you know, have launched recently our Dasar Kesatuan Negara, or rather Dasar Kesatuan Nasional 2030, where innovations is placed among the top priority. Development of core competency is placed as top priority. And creation and employment through the use of talent, as you said, through the high-skilled people, the need for us to upskill our community. You talk about education system. You talk about the challenges that you are facing. I'm glad you said you are working with 20 universities. Now, I must say this. We spend $1 to educate people, but we have to spend another $1 to train people. But if only if you can inculcate this so-called appreciation, Dr. Redzuan, to the university that you're talking to, we need only to spend $1 perhaps, not to spend another $1 to produce, or rather to manage the demand of the industry in terms of human capital development. This is our focus in the DKN 2030, where we stress so much. We are very serious about human capital development. We are serious about upskilling people. We are serious about upscaling people. Now we are very fearful about the adoption of technology. SMEs, for example, they are still uncertain whether I should adopt or I should digitize myself, or I should then go into the digitalization of economy. Now, I did a debate with, for example, recently or about a few months back with Oxford Business Science School, and I contested. I just want to draw the answers from them. And people talk about when you adopt technology, the chances you're going to lose employment. I disagree, or they disagree, because the more innovations you created, the more technology you adopt, the more employment you create. And I thank you all, Blockchain Association, for making the initiatives early. And I know the challenges you are facing, as I face my challenge and face the cabinet. And I really appreciate the fact that you are moving it. You are creating an environment, an ecosystem by yourself. But today, thank God, alhamdulillah, we have magic under my ministry. I'm driving this through Zulera to make sure that we assist wherever we can, we facilitate wherever we can. We are not, government is not doing business, but we are facilitating business. You probably start as a hobby, and the hobby can thrive into an industry. And we are here to facilitate. And I have magic with me. I'm not saying that I'm putting pressure to Zulera, but our DKN 2030 is based on outcome. We have a target that we have to fulfill, and I hope you guys can download our new entrepreneurship policy to make Malaysia as entrepreneur nation and high income nation by 2030. Now, I'm honored to be able to share my thoughts on the topic Entrepreneurs 4.0 via blockchain with all of you here today. At my ministry, we pursue specific outcomes in the field of SME and entrepreneur development through innovations-driven entrepreneurship, comprehensive and integrated entrepreneurship development, as well as boosting and upscaling of entrepreneurs. Our nation has the capacity and capabilities of adapting to rapid technological changes brought about by Industrial Revolution 4. The increased adoption of automation and digitalization will not only propel productivity, but also further enhance market competitiveness. In order to stay sustainable in the long run, local entrepreneurs today must be courageous. And what you're doing, Dr. Redzuan, you are demonstrating bravery ahead of what we can do as a government. And I just whispered to Zelera we need now to get other agencies, to get ourselves chained into the blocks that you guys are creating, so that we can exist and we can propel the economy. I was discussing with Dr. Redzuan just now, how much impact do we have in our economy if we adopt or we transform ourselves into the blockchain era, so to speak. Now, to that effect, again, I must stress, just want to talk a little bit about human capital development. And I'm quite surprised. In fact, I wouldn't say I was shocked, but I do make it a point to visit some of the talent development centers, for example. And there seems to be very few takers. Is it because we are not promoting this? Are the product, the output from the university or higher institution do not understand where we are heading? There's something that we want to address. Once we define the situation, then the government can further facilitate. And there were like a few centers that I went, and training centers for 50 to 30 people. Hardly anybody come for a week. So either they are happy to stay where they are in the world of themselves, or they are not aware. This is something that the challenges that we are facing in Ministry of Development, to change the culture, to change the mindset of especially the younger generations, to move towards innovations, to move towards technology adoption and apply them to create wealth for themselves. Now, today, if you see, a lot of people that has been successful in adopting, say, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and I must say, I've expressed my regret. Some of them has been taken away from this country to thrive in other country, because the ecosystem has been created for them to survive or to thrive in that country. This is something that we always want to bring to the attention of the government, and I'm sometimes one of the people that will criticize our own government in terms of how we want to facilitate. But sometimes we can get laughed at. But this is the reality. We need to educate people. So I recommend, or I suggest, Dr. Redzuan, continue with your engagement with the higher institutions of learning so that they understand the demand side of the industry, rather than trying to rush to give outputs. But the demand side has got to be fulfilled. Ladies and gentlemen, further to the launch of the DKN 2030 by the Prime Minister himself, to Dr. Mahathir, MED is currently working on its plan of action focusing on the new growth sectors of SME with players from different industrial sectors such as automotive, aerospace, halal, and technology-driven agriculture. It's interesting. Now, even if you notice, if you read the Dasar Pertanian, the agricultural policy, one of the focus is adopting the blockchain technology, and I think you are fully aware of that, and I encourage you to expand your relationship with the Ministry of Agriculture. We ourselves have got challenges in trying to get all these blocks of ministers, so-called, to come together, to be chained together, to understand the MED objective. Yeah, today Zulera is smiling. Maybe he doesn't have enough money to get innovations commercialized. For example, we only have angel investors. We have people that comes in and where we can pitch for them to participate in innovations and inventions, so forth. Now, horizontal areas such as fintech, digital entrepreneurship, and big data analytics will also continue to receive special focus. I am trying to, I've given a hint, I'm not pushing it there. If you talk about blockchain technology in the area of fintech, you talk of cryptocurrency, now it is being addressed through the Security Commission, not Bank Negara. This is the regulation we're going to put in place. We're going to regulate the industry. Perhaps there must be initiative from your community, for example, to create an exchange for digital currency. I don't know, something that you're going to think about and try to bring to the attention of the government as a private initiative. There's no harm in trying to put a proposal, a suggestion that you want to create Langkawi as the digital action center, cryptocurrency digital action center, that's classified offshore. Or you continue to enhance or rather to transform Labuan as your exchange center offshore. And I think if there are strong push by the private sector, because our economy wanted to be driven by the private initiative. We want to be Malaysia incorporated once more. So therefore, we welcome such suggestion and we try to facilitate as fast as we can. You can bring into the government the blockchain technology when it comes to improving the bureaucratic processes. And I always say this, I'm sure you have heard many times, the need for us to overhaul our bureaucratic process, the need for us to start looking at paperless government. This is something that I'm trying to do, but we need the support from the private sectors, the third force so-called, for us to wake up, to be in the mainstream of the industry. These are the necessary building blocks that will be pivotal in realizing our DKN 2030 policy objective. Among the core strategic thrusts of DKN 2030 is to identify and pioneer new growth sectors via strategic investment and realizing our capacity as producing nation that manufactures more globally competitive products. This will ultimately act as a catalyst in creating more innovation-driven products and services that are market-orientated. In realizing our vision, NEP 2030 or DKN 2030, Malaysia needs to develop some core characteristic. We need bravery. We need to be brave. You are brave. You need to be brave to showcase what you can do. You need to be brave to be able to brand yourself up there. If you don't want to brand yourself, nobody will notice you. And you become followers, as Tan Sri K.K. Johan said. So the bravery we are trying to instill, even in our philosophical entrepreneurs, they are not brave. Yeah? To capitalize on innovations, I'm sorry, there's no place for you in the industry. You can become consumers if you wish. Well, the government can become consumers to your technology, no doubt. But we use it to facilitate the growth of the economy. Bloconomics, you want to call it. That reason saying that there is an impact to the GDP by 15 to 20%, I'll welcome that move. I will bring this to the attention to the cabinet, to the government, and say, look, we have to quickly adopt blockchain technology. To start with, perhaps I want to do a paperless cabinet. It can be done. It's nothing new. I know for the fact that countries like the Emirates, I understand, Indonesia for that matter, has already adopted paperless cabinet. But we are still have this issue on bureaucratic process to speed up. And I must say, innovations move so fast, if you're not there, you lose out. And case in point, when I always say this, Jack Ma, Alibaba, transacted 17 trillion US dollars in 2017. Where are we at that time? We are putting people in the lockup because they want to adopt blockchain technology. I mean, I'm saying this, I'm apolitical. I'm trying to get things moving. I'm trying to move the economy. I'm trying to get the community to appreciate. Malaysia has been identified as top destination for investment. If we don't facilitate in time, we lose out. Branding, of course. And thank you, Tan Sri K.K. Johan, for giving, or rather for showcasing what Malaysia can do. Malaysia boleh. And I think we can do more, and I think we can become an example to the world in terms of adopting blockchain in your bloconomics. And I went to a few conferences recently, or roundtable discussion, ministerial level, for example, in the Global Entrepreneurship Network. They single out Malaysia as one of the most successful, more successful nation when it comes to startup. Try from that brand. Try from that recognition that we are there. This is where one has got to be brave. One has got to be creative. But of course, above all, one must be able to accept the fact that with humility, that like me, I have no knowledge in blockchain, but I'm trying to learn. So therefore, please adopt that 3 C's I said. You got to be courageous, creative, and candor. So these three elements will hopefully change the mindset. You become the leaders for the followers. You become the leaders, the people that you want to educate in the university or higher institution, so that they open their eyes and try to transform into the new era of using technology. We need a workforce that identify as high-skilled talent. We talked about earlier to develop and strengthen our core competency. Without core competency, without upskilling our core competency, then we lose people or lose interest from people, from angel investors, from foreign investors, from local investors to come and share the prosperity of the world. We need to get ourselves in the global environment, the chain of the world, the block of the world. We got to chain ourselves to those ecosystems, and so that we can benefit. For example, you can create a blockchain in the halal industry. Yeah, we are the top destination for investors to look at how we develop our halal industry. 27 trillion ringgit is the size of halal industry. If we can tap about 10% of that, that triple up our GDP of Malaysia. Can you take that challenge? Adopt, be brave to adopt blockchain technology. You need certification. You need the JAKIM halal certification. There is authenticated, there is authenticate. We need blockchain technology. So Dr. Redzuan, explore beyond that. You have achieved, you got the award recipient in terms of trying to move this Bloconomics using blockchain technology, and I really appreciate contribution from your association, making us realize that you can enhance the contribution by SMEs, SMI by 15 to 20%. We need to harness our local expertise in order for us to become producing rather than consuming nation, as I said. Our industries, wholesale and retailers must also work hand in hand with the government to strengthen our supply chain, particularly SME. And I must say, we need to propagate this. Zulera is trying very hard. There are still fear in SMEs community that do not want to adopt the use of new technology. There are fear in the business community, SMEs, that do not want to digitize what they do, and they don't want to get involved in digitization of the economy for one reason. They said they feel insecure. And I think when you have this blockchain, give you full autonomy on what you do, and I think you need to tell people adopt blockchain, and therefore they may be willing now to adopt this Bloconomics. Now, we live in an era where smart technology, smart appliances are moving us closer to fully digitalized society. Industrial Revolution 4 is about new business structures which in turn demand businesses to grow exponentially. Blockchain is certainly a futuristic technology. It has significant role in helping our entrepreneurs to grow, become more competitive, and operate in a secure digital environment. Secure digital environment is something that, as I said earlier, will give fear to the SMBs to transform themselves, to migrate themselves to digitalization in the economy. We, as a government, are trying to increase, to spend more money, to give confidence to people to adopt technology. I had myself, a couple of months ago, put a challenge to ourselves. What is the level of our cyber security in this country? Does anybody know? Because there's fear. There are people who want to come here, the big organization, the big businesses, Airbus, Boeing, and so on, Safran and Dassault wants to come here, but they suspect that our security in terms of cyberspace is not up to. How do we measure that? Measure by how much commitment the government has in terms of spending money to elevate ourselves to the next level of cybersecurity, to the benchmark of other countries like United States of America, even Singapore. And we are trying to put money to demonstrate, to give confidence to the SMEs, to give confidence to the MNC, to give confidence to foreign investors. Look, we are ready for you. So this is a little thing that we can do to facilitate, to have a stronger ecosystem to thrive our Bloconomics. I'm not going to say anything more about blockchain because I'm no expert in it, but I can appreciate. You can always talk to Zulera, you can always talk to Dr. Anis, you can always come to our office and exchange views, how we can accelerate the transformation into blockchain technology by SMBs in particular, because SMBs is under my supervision, so to speak, and I want them to transform themselves as quickly as they can and get themselves into the global blockchain network. Last but not least, I would like to congratulate Malaysia Blockchain Association MBA and officated Berhad for making this summit possible, and encourage you to expand your community, and encourage you to engage a lot more ministry, yeah, not just entrepreneur development. MDAC is here. We have, perhaps when you talk about education ministry is key. They need to come and get themselves involved with new technology so that they can give inspiration to the people that's learning in their colleges, and through perhaps putting it into the education system. As I said earlier, in conclusion, we spend $1, but we have to spend another $1 to develop core competency. Why don't we just spend $1 rather than spend another $1? And you can do that by innovating using blockchain technology. I hope all of you here will benefit from this summit. On the note, I hereby officiate the Bloconomic Expo with Excellent Award T019. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Dato'. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to begin with the MOU certificate exchange between all of these respective organizations. And through this, I would like Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Mohd Redzuan to remain still on the center stage to witness and commemorate our ceremony. Here, I would also like to invite Mr. Rayson Wong from MBA, Ms. Zulaira Abu Bakar from Magic, to come up on stage to proceed with the MOU certificate exchange of Blockchain Researcher Lab. There you have it, ladies and gents. The certificate exchange for Blockchain Researcher Lab has already been done, and we still have one more. But first, let's put our hands together for Ms. Zulaira Abu Bakar one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Ms. Zulaira. Next, I would like to invite the representative from BlockTech Institute, Mr. Felix, to come up on stage. And of course, we would also like to invite Mr. Tanji Sheng from Tribe Academy, and having our lovely minister as well for the certificate exchange on blockchain education program. All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let us celebrate this momentous occasion and put our hands together one more time for all of our amazing VIPs.